Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of The Rundown, where we promise to bring you 2A views and conservative news. My name is Mike Borski. I'll be your host for today's episode here as we come to you live. Although it's a very special day. You know what? We'll get to that in a moment. Let me introduce you to my co-host.
That would be me, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. I'm coming from the state that, in free country is known as California, but we'll call it California for today. How about that one?
Sure. Why would we be doing that?
Well, because California is the home to the best Mexican food in the nation.
Oh, is there some sort of Mexican connotation today?
Yes, there is, because today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum.
Oh, that makes my day every Tuesday. Gets me in the mood for tacos. I am so hyped.
I had some street tacos for lunch today, and now after that song, I think I'm going to go out tonight. There's a gas station by me that sells them late. I think I'm going to go over there and get me some street tacos for dinner.
Street tacos. Now, does the gas station actually sell them, or is there a setup outside of the gas station that sells you the tacos?
Well, I know what you're saying. They used to have a truck outside.
Right.
And then inside they had and it started out as a little food, it was like a Burger King or something that went out of business. And, it was like a half Burger King, half gas station. Now the taco place has taken over the Burger King. So it's a taco place in a gas station.
See, now that is American entrepreneurialism. That's what I'll give you. It's funny. There's a taco. It's kind of funny. There's like a cul-de-sac, right? That comes out and it's like backs into a main, not a main thoroughfare, but a pretty big street, not too far away from us. And it's literally almost most evenings that they're set up there, but on weekend evenings, there's this taco truck that sets up out there. They sell tamales, street tacos, and all of that. Yeah. And it's just like people line up to get the food, and it's just anyway. It's phenomenal. It's entrepreneurialism, and I will.
It is great. They took over this Burger King spot. I'm not even sure how Burger King's still in business. They don't pay us any money, so I don't care. Craig, here's my invitation to Burger King. Here, order something. Go ahead and order something.
I'll have a Whopper with cheese.
I'm sorry, we're out of Whoppers.
Can I have some French fries?
I'm sorry, we're out of French fries.
How about a chocolate shake?
I'm sorry, we're out of chocolate shakes.
Okay, I'll have water.
I'm sorry, we're out of water. That's all you get. That's all you get. Any Burger King that I've tried, and every time they come out in like a new special or something, I'm like, all right, let me go try that. I'll go see how that is, and I'll drive my butt down to that Burger King. And be like, let me get this. And like, oh, we're out. All right, just give me a regular chicken sandwich. I'm sorry, we're out of that. You know what? I'm not getting anything. Well, sorry, you're in the lane, and I'll drive over the bushes in my truck. We're like, I don't care. I'm not staying.
Interesting thing about Burger King. So there was an issue that happened here in California where one guy owned like 14 different Burger Kings, almost every Burger King franchise in Sacramento County. And something happened and he decided, you know what, I'm done. And he shuttered all of his stores. And so it had to be like 5 to 7 years. You couldn't find Burger King except in 1 or 2 places in all of Sacramento County. So it was so there was a long time where we were Burger King less. And even now, there's still not that many of them around Sacramento County.
Remember growing up, it was McDonald's and Burger King. You had them, on both corners, and they were competitive, and they were good and decent. And somewhere over the past 10 years or so, Burger King's just taken the nosedive. And again, I'm not trying to throw them under the bus or anything, but I can't even get a sandwich there to rate them anymore. To tell you how they are.
Exactly. Well, kind of like it used to be kind of like Del Taco and Taco Bell.
You see, now we got a pair of Del Tacos here in Florida, and I go to them all day long over Taco Bell. I haven't been to a Taco Bell before midnight in a long, long time. I can't tell you the last time there was a sober trip to a Taco Bell.
Well, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
That is what Taco Bell is best for, right?
Yeah, but they
Like,
might as well only be open from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. They can make all their money just doing that, you know? Close the rest of the day.
Yeah, that might be a wise decision for them. But you know, just a little advice to, you know, Taco Bell on Taco Tuesday from the rundown.
Yeah, how about serving some tacos? How about that? Real tacos.
There you go. Hey, folks, if you're watching us right now
crap.
on, if you're watching us on, however you're watching us, please make sure to share it with your friends. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, if you're watching us at 2A News, at Arms Room Radio, if you're watching us at the California Republican Assembly, please make sure like and share. Like and share. Let folks know this program is going on. It's going on right now, and it's going on live. Same thing with if you're watching us on Facebook on OpsLens. Now, folks, check this out. If you're watching us on OpsLens, go on your TV, because you can now watch us on your TV. You know, bam.
Yeah, go to your TV. Yeah, go to your TV. You said
go to your TV
go to your
and
TV.
watch us there, because now I just have to warn you. Just because Mike gets bigger doesn't mean he gets any prettier. I'm just gonna warn you right now. But folks, it's a lot of fun. Make sure you guys check it out. But encourage friends to tune in. Yeah, go ahead and encourage folks to go ahead and tune in. I don't know why this restarted.
Yeah.
I love technology.
What?
Oh, nothing. My computer, the story just started talking to me. Just out of the blue.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Feel free to pass us around, I think is what Craig was trying to tell you.
There you go. Like, share, subscribe.
Let's move into some stories, shall we? We shall.
Yes, let us get to our stories.
This first one comes to us from our good friends in the state of Georgia. I'm sorry, now my phone just jumped off the table over there. It was getting all vibrating and stuff. The state of Georgia. Now, Georgia's had, for the past 10, 15 years now, they've been rated in the top 3 in gun rights that you had in the state of Georgia. The one thing that they were lacking, though, was constitutional carry. What's constitutional carry? Now, you'll hear different people use different terms for the same thing. You have a constitutional carry and permitless carry. And again, it's really just small idiosyncrasies there. Constitutional carry should mean I have nothing to do other than carry my firearm based on the Constitution. Permitless carry will mean I don't have to carry a permit, but they may still be other things I have to do, other ways I have to qualify, or training or something along those lines. So you'll hear permitless carry and constitutional carry, and you'll hear people argue about the difference sometimes. Don't worry about it. For the most part, it means I get to carry my firearm without paying the government the right to do so. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. Well, Georgia now has got it passed through the Senate. It has passed through the Senate there. The governor was behind the bill. He was one of the people asking and pushing for it, Governor Kemp. If you recall, Governor Kemp's been sitting around a long time doing nothing when it came to Second Amendment rights and other conservative rights in the state. So we'll see if this is enough to help him save, because he's up for re-election this year and he's got a couple of legit candidates on his heels. But it is expected to pass through the House rather soon, rather quickly. So Georgia shall become, I believe that'll make it the 22nd or 23rd, because I think we just had a problem out in Indiana with theirs. It looked like it was going to go and it did not.
Right. Interestingly about this, it once again goes back to a lot of this is, quite frankly, it's political. When I say political, I mean that Kemp, like you said, has been there for a long time, has had a chance to say that he could support this. He could have pushed this through years ago and decided not to. I don't know why. Well, I know why he's doing it now. He's doing it now because he's got former Senator Perdue, who is actually very, very popular there in the state of Georgia, who is running against him in the primary, and who is probably going to wind up beating him in the Republican primary, because, quite frankly, Kemp has been sitting on his rear end and not really fighting for the values of the Republican Party, or the state of quite frankly, the values of the state of Georgia. So he's likely going to wind up being replaced. And this is part of a last gasp for him to try and get their support. I think it's great that we're holding folks accountable. I just think that I'm hoping that a message goes out to those people, those Republicans who claim to be pro-Second Amendment, that look, if you are not advancing or supporting our right to keep and bear arms, then you are part of the problem. You are not pro-2A if you're not advancing our rights, if you're not supporting our rights, if you're not passing legislation or signing legislation that protects our right to keep and bear arms, then you are not pro-gun, period. And you will be held accountable, or you will be replaced with someone who is.
Yeah, and listen, I'm sure that we'll see a number more of these pro-gun bills come out in the last what do we got here? We got another 7 months, 8 months until the election, right? So I'm sure we'll see a couple more. I know they want to look at removing the restrictions on where you can legally possess the firearm. There's certain places in, like every state has, that are off limits. They want to eliminate those as well. So we'll see what happens. But again, I think it might be too little, too late. Even if Kemp supports and pops out a couple more of these Second Amendment bills, there's a good portion of those Republicans in Georgia that are not forgiving him for how he stood in the shadows when the president was asking for a recount in that state. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep, we shall definitely see how that one goes.
Either way, though, you know what it sounds like? No matter who wins the election in Georgia, Perdue or Kemp, that they're going to continue to have a pro-Second Amendment guy. So
definitely,
but not for granted, though, because you got
is
Stacey
going to be more
Abrams.
proactive than Kemp, and I think that Perdue will represent that.
We just don't sit on your laurels, even if your laurels are a nice, comfy place, because nobody really knows what they are. But don't sit back on your laurels, because you do have Stacey Abrams will probably be running again. She currently considers herself the president of Georgia. Well, now she'd like to be governor try to be governor one more time. So you know how they can steal an election, all right? So you need to go out there and win plus 10%. You really do. All right, Craig, let's keep rolling here. Let's keep rolling.
All right, let's do that.
This I think we've mentioned this a couple times. We are somewhere near around the 10th anniversary of the when George Zimmerman defended his life and shot and killed the criminal Trayvon Martin. Well, there's a story that's come out, and you know what? I want to bring this up because if you'll bring that up, Craig, I want to throw the authors under the bus here. Kurt Anderson and Lindsay Whitehurst. Kurt Anderson and Lindsay Whitehurst. For the record, I think it's probably, I know it's the first of the month, but I am purely confident that you two will be the worst authors that we've featured all month of March. Your writing is sporadic. The facts are ignored or made up. And you don't even look at your own statistics before making your own decisions at the end here on your story. So I just want to say that your writing is horrible. Stand your ground laws proliferate after Trayvon spotlight. And Craig, even the title itself is false. And I'm not even sure how we go about this story. Oh, first off, there's a nice picture of young Trayvon there. Let me take a look at No Justice for Juicy. I'm sorry, No Justice for Trayvon. You have this. I'm not even going to go back into the kid's case. I'm not going there at all. I will cite that we continue to see pictures of Trayvon Martin. There you go. Oh, look at young Trayvon when he's 10, out playing ball in the park. They weren't, the media wasn't trying to influence you then, were they? Look at every picture they're carrying, right? Of the young man before he was the 16-year-old, 6'2", 220-pound guy that attacked somebody half his size. So again, let's move on from there. Craig, let's talk stand your ground laws. That's your cue. You and I, me and next to you. But Craig here and me here.
Bam.
There we go. Let's talk stand your ground laws. This story tells us how stand your ground is proliferated since this shooting 10 years ago. First off, stand your ground was never, ever, ever, ever uttered during that trial.
It was never never actually a part of that trial, ever. In any way. Well, except that the media kept talking about stand your ground laws.
Sure they did. and it never went there. They never went that way. George Zimmerman's attorneys never claimed stand your ground at all. They never stand your ground hearing. They didn't do any of that. This again was the media who wanted to tell us how racist stand your ground was.
Which, by the way, now here's what's interesting about the quote about how racist they are, and is that they talk about how racist they are, yet way, way, way more people of color, black men in particular, have utilized stand your ground laws as a self-defense than any other group.
Yes, absolutely. This article goes to talk about how that Florida was still one of the few states with a law that removes the duty to retreat before using deadly force in the face of danger. Folks, just to be clear, if you have castle doctrine in your state, you have no duty to retreat. Most states have castle doctrine now. You're still going to get a couple that do not. You got your Northeast states, you got your out West states, but you look at everything in the heartland, and we're there. And then the story says upwards of 30 states have some form of the law. Well, yeah, and it's really been that way for about 20 years. Castle doctrine has always been there in these states that have had castle doctrine. It's hard to go back and find a recent edition of castle doctrine. What you have is recent editions of stand your ground. Stand your ground is just the clarification of castle doctrine. It's an extended castle doctrine, is what it is. In fact, in many states, you won't even see the words "stand your ground" in their statutes. It'll just say no duty to retreat outside the home as well.
And believe it or not, even in states like it's funny, in states like California. By the way, we are if you notice here, let me show you this map real quick. Even in California, you will notice that we are not a stand your ground state. We say stand your ground in practice. And what that in essence means is we are not required. In other words, in a lot of states, if it's stand your ground, if it's deemed that it's a stand your ground self-defense, it doesn't even go to trial. What this does is in California, places like California, Washington, and Oregon, it's added to the jury instructions, meaning that if after the trial it's deemed that it was self-defense, if you can identify that it was self-defense, then they did not have a requirement to retreat, and they should be found innocent. But notice how few states actually don't have anything. Yet it's kind of funny that they want to talk about Florida as one of few, but no, Florida is actually more the norm than it is the exception.
Bring that back up. Let me see that graphic again. And there's a couple that surprised me on here. First off, Maine's a huge open carry state and a kind of leave me alone state. I'm surprised Maine is not. Vermont, we get that. Vermont has turned all independent and liberal. New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, we get that. Jersey, Maryland, we get those. Wisconsin, I'm not sure why. Minnesota, I'm not sure why. And then Nebraska is a surprising one for me as well out there in the heartland. So curious why some of those have never done this, but that's future research that maybe you and I could do, Craig, because these authors sure didn't do any research.
Well, no, they didn't. They once again, their method of the way in which they did things was inductive, not deductive. Deductive is you take a look at all the facts and all the information, and then you come up with a conclusion. That's what journalists are supposed to do. What they did was inductive. They already determined what their conclusion was going to be, and they only sought data or information that supported that. And the dumbest thing about it is that then they go and they include information that doesn't even support their cause, and they act as if it's evidence or proof of their conclusion.
Yeah, these would be they report like children. All right, we saw all the youthful pictures of Trayvon there. Let's just I want to leave with the other picture that I gave you as well. There you go. There's George with his dog Oso, Bear. Who's recently gone across the Rainbow Bridge to visit all the other dogs. So he'll be there. That dog was a beast. The dog. I think that dog. They're both standing on their hind legs right there, Craig. I'm pretty sure. So.
Well, and this, I think the point behind this is that everyone wants to make George Zimmerman out to be this white supremacist. Turns out he's actually Latino. Some would say Afro-Latino. Really nice guy, was really supportive of the community. And yes, that included organizations that supported African Americans. Just really, in this case, was so overly victimized by the media, by left-wing politicians, by the anti-gun community. I mean, they literally created a facsimile, not even a, they created a fake what is George Zimmerman in order to perpetuate their lies, and in the process, ruined a man's life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely did. And anyway, here's him. It's a nice photo of him that the media, we being the media, Craig, we got to pick the photo. We didn't go with the booking photo or any of that other nonsense. Here's a nice. You get to pick a nice photo of Trayvon. We get to get a real photo of George. So
there you go. There you go. And by the way, that's not a picture of George when he was 12 years old, the same way they did Trayvon.
Yeah, he's an adult in that photo. Yeah,
he's an adult in that photo. There you go.
Let's move on here. Craig, public defenders in New York, in a couple of different counties up there. I think we've seen it in New York County and in Bronx County. They have decided that they want to. They're in support of concealed weapons laws, concealed firearms laws. I know what you're saying to yourself, folks. How can the public defenders be for gun rights? Well, it's actually pretty simple if you think about it. New York is going through, an incredible case right now that's up at the Supreme Court, and we shall know soon. It's the New York State Rifle Association case versus Bruin, and it's commonly called the Bruin case, up there right now. This is saying that New York does not allow you to have your firearm outside of the home. That's basically what it is. We're revisiting this. This is almost as the same as what Heller 2 was. It's outside the home. The difference here is now we've included, moving about from one location to another, because New York has said, oh, sure, you can move it from one home to another as long as you don't cross through New York, except my home happens to be in New York, and it's New York City, which is different law than Long Island, which is different than upstate. So it's a whole mess, of laws, and they're trying to get over this. Well, these public defenders have said, listen, I got people that have been arrested for carrying a firearm, and they have no other charge, and they've had no other crimes ever. These are just people that are trying to protect themselves, and they cannot legally obtain a firearm in New York City to carry to protect themselves. Greg, it goes to the next level as well. Those same people that have carried a firearm to protect themselves and then have used the firearm to protect themselves are now being, tried as violent criminals because they used a firearm to protect themselves. And when they applied to the city to get a firearm, the city said, no, we don't give firearms people. There's no reason to protect yourself. So the district, the public defenders there for, Bronx County and New York County, Manhattan and the Bronx, have come forward and said, this is nonsense. They've sided on the side of, the plaintiff here in this New York State case versus Supreme Court.
We when I was working with the Firearms Policy Coalition and lobbying for them, we often worked with the public defenders because, once again, in many of these cases, just like this, you have people who are going out of their way to follow the law, right? To legally exercise a fundamental right. And when you have a government that is saying we are going to be selective, we are going to decide who gets to exercise their right and who does not. When you give them discretion, and keep in mind, a lot of these discretion laws were put in place in order to keep those people from being able to own or possess firearms. Most gun control laws, if you look back at the root of them, it's about keeping people of color, particularly black people, at that time, newly freed slaves, Native Americans, Chinese, Mexicans, from being able to own or possess firearms or ammunition. That's where the root of these laws, these discretion laws, are, because eventually they get to the point where, okay, we can't say that you can't have it if you're black, but if we give law enforcement the discretion. And so what's happened now is that now most law-abiding citizens who are not part of the liberal elite, in their eyes, are those people. So it's not even just about race, but what they point out in their amicus brief in this case, or their friend of the court brief, is that's exactly the point, is that if you're not connected, and like I give you an example, Mike, place like San Francisco, California, where there's less than a dozen of those permits. I think there's less than 10. Just about everyone who has one has some sort of either political connection or is connected to law enforcement. Down in Los Angeles, where I think there's less than 200 of them, 90% of them are, once again, people with connections to either law enforcement or connections to the judicial system, or are politically connected. The former Los Angeles County Sheriff was arrested and is in jail now because of quote unquote discretion, because he was handing out permits as political favors. And there's currently another county sheriff in Sacramento County who's in trouble for the same exact thing. And this issue that they're talking about in New York, this law, what basically it amounts to was like, look, unless you were like totally connected in New York City, you couldn't own a firearm, let alone possess one outside of the home.
Right. Yeah. The last set of stats that are released from New York, anyway, it's a few years old now, say that of the 9-10 million people that live there, there's 2,000 firearm permits that can be carried out.
And I'm sure that there are only 2,000 firearms in New York.
Well, it's a gun-free zone, Craig. How could there be any more firearms than that?
Well, exactly. And I'm positive that no one has ever shot anyone while in the commission of a crime. That just doesn't happen in New York because it's a gun-free zone.
Well, if you shoot anyone in New York, it is a crime because you're not allowed to have the firearm in the first place.
Right.
So,
well,
and that's what they're saying. I want to make sure you guys understand that. People that have obtained a firearm, whether they've obtained it legally somewhere else, we're not talking people that are breaking into cars and stealing guns.
Right.
We're talking about good, righteous citizens that fear for their life. Maybe they got a gun from, a friend in Pennsylvania or something like that, whatever it happens to be. And then they're walking down the street and they get jumped by, three bad guys or bad girls, and they pull knives and chains and guns, and then you pull your own out to defend yourself. You're going to jail. That's what's happening.
And what's funny is
that's where the public defenders are saying enough is enough.
Well, and then once again, just a reminder, folks, in case you missed the show the other day, they're now pushing a law there in New York, which would basically make it so that you can't, even if you do have the right to possess a firearm, right, to carry a firearm, you literally can't carry it anywhere. You can't carry it on public transit. You can't have it in a restaurant. You can't have it in a bar. You can't have it at an airport. You're not allowed to transport it anywhere.
Yeah, they're turning it into a Dr. Seuss book. What about on a boat? What about with a goat?
Nope.
What about in the car? What about in a bar? So no guns. All right, let's move on to our good friends down in Alabama. Hey, listen, my good friend Kevin, he's from Greenbow, Alabama. So I got to always give a little respect for Alabama down there. Let's see here. What do we got? Alabama is a young man down there in Alabama. A young man, in his 30s, it looks like. He got himself a brand new license plate. And it says LGBF and space JB, right? First off, Craig, he applied for this with the state. He paid like $600 or $700 of a specialty tag fee, got it approved, and he's had it on his truck now for over a month or so. And now he gets a letter in the mail from the state that says, we've determined this to be offensive, and sorry, sir, you must return it within 10 days, or we're going to revoke your registration. Well, I don't know. Maybe when he got it approved, Craig, they thought it was some sort of LGB thing, like a gay rights thing, and nobody there realized what it really meant. That it meant let's go Biden. Let's go Brandon, and then forget Joe Biden, right? Let's go Brandon, forget Joe Biden. So I guess that offended somebody in Alabama, and they said you have to turn that in. Well, Craig, I don't know what this guy's plans are, and this article really just deals with that he just got notice that it's a travesty, it's the end of the world as we know it, and everything else, but it doesn't say what his plans are. And if I'm him, listen, I'm going out and getting me a nice Trump supporter, Trump hat wearing attorney, and I'm going to let him take care of this for me. because
And
this is absolutely ridiculous.
you know what I would, say? I would
What?
say, what? It means let's go bass fishing.
Let's go bash fishing with a with one of the special reels. The
Right, exactly. I'm just, how do they get to
the jiggerbait. That's
change
it.
what how do
Yeah.
they get to determine what the meaning of those letters are?
Yeah.
You may consider it offensive. That's fine, but that's you. You don't get to change the meaning of stuff and then tell me that what I'm saying or what I'm doing is offensive. You just don't get to do that. Let's go, Brandon. There's not an offensive word in there. Now, you can add the connotation if you want, right?
Right.
I mean, Mike, you made a great point when we were doing our show prep. These are the very same people who basically said nothing when guys like Robert De Niro from the stage of from an awards show was saying, F Donald Trump, and he didn't say F.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, Madonna said, "Let's kill him." You had Kathy Griffith there pulling out a fake mannequin head. We saw nothing but F Trump bumper stickers for 4 years, right? With the word F spelled out completely, and it wasn't forget,
Right.
And it wasn't an issue then. It was not a First Amendment violation then. But now that we're using I don't even know if this is so far removed from a euphemism. I'm not even sure what it is. It's an acronym to a euphemism to an insult, right? How is that? How is that a violation of your First Amendment? It's not even what it says, what you think it says, what it is, and you're saying we can't have it. That's like, Craig. You know what? I'm going to go down there to Alabama and I'm going to get me a new one, and it's just going to say HH.
Well, now, but think about this. Now, imagine if the F was moved over, then you could make the argument, right? But that's not what it says. It says, "Let's go bass fishing."
Listen,
and drink some Jim Beam.
I know Jim Beam. Yeah, let's go bass fishing, Jim Beam. We know this is let's go, Brandon. F Joe Biden. Right.
Right.
But so what? It's either the First Amendment or it's not. You don't get to change what level of offensiveness you have. When it's okay for you to say the actual word F Trump and put that out publicly, yet this is behind 3 tiers and layers of acronyms and euphemisms and similes and metaphors and whatever else you want to throw in there, and you find this offensive, get out of here.
Well,
get out of here.
Mike, the First Amendment does not exist to protect language that we all agree with. It exists to protect the language with which we disagree, because they knew that people like this, some bureaucrat, because I'm willing to bet that the majority of the elected officials there in the state of Alabama, they're going to do something about this. They're going to address this. They're not going to tolerate this happening.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely right. And this is the whoever has denied this. This is the same person when you go in there and you have that First Amendment argument with them. They're going to say, "Well, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie house." That's the argument we immediately get from them, and you're like, "Yes, we can." And it's only been about 60 years since that law changed, since the Supreme Court said it's okay. It has nothing to do with it. So it's absolutely ridiculous that people still use it.
Exactly. You just want to say to them, "Thank you for putting your ignorance on full display."
There are trees right now that are thanking you for being here, because it's the only reason you're here is to provide them with the carbon dioxide they need to
that is your only purpose for being here. To some people, you just want to be like, "Okay, I get it. I get it. You're just not that bright."
Provide the air to the trees.
Which is probably why you work for the government.
Yes, exactly right. At the DMV. Oh boy. All right, let's see. Before we head to our parting shot here, let's say hello to our sponsors. Craig, I'll let you handle that this time.
All right. Well, want to say hello to our sponsors over at Guerrilla Machining, Grid Defense, and the California Republican Assembly. Folks, these are the people that help make sure that these are the folks that help make sure that this show stays on, that we're able to come to you guys. So do us a favor. Their links are in the description to this video. So please go there, visit their site, check out their wares. I promise you will like what you see, and you're probably not going to get out of there without putting something in the little shopping cart. And for the California Republican Assembly, let me just say this. It is the Republican wing of the Republican Party here in the state of California. We are fighting from behind enemy lines. In order, a lot of the bad stuff you see coming across the country in terms of legislation starts off here in California. So why not fight at the source? So so please take a moment, visit the California Republican Assembly. If you're in California, become a member. If you're not in California, it's part of a national organization. You can become a member in other states, or you can encourage your friends who do live in California to become a member. So check them out.
You can also,
it's all good stuff.
Yeah. You can also become a member of the Guerrilla Machining and Grid Defense part owning organization. So do that as well. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
A member of them. Yeah, an alumni, so to speak.
Let's get on to our parting shot, shall we?
Parting shot. Let's take a look at it. My mom said she could take us to the Ukraine if your mom can pick us up.
Is that Kyle Rittenhouse?
Oh, don't do that to that poor boy. That boy, I think that boy's had enough of that stuff.
He just doesn't know when to quit, does he?
This guy's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's got his COVID mask on over his face, right? And got his hoodie he can pull up, little plate carrier there, and got his little sidearm on the left side and rifle on the right. He's good to go. Go out there and get him kill him a mommy, or kill him a commie for mommy.
I'm about to say no. Yeah, no, we'll get at that first part. But I stepped on my tongue there. Kill a commie for mommy. And those of you from the 80s, you remember that. That's. I think that one of the things, like I said, though, that this inspires is just, once again, people are watching what's going on right now in Ukraine. And here's the thing, folks. You don't have to like Putin. You don't have to like Putin. You don't have to hate Putin. You don't have to recognize. You don't have to believe all the stuff that's coming out of the Ukraine. I mean, let's be honest. There's corruption in the Ukraine because we know. How do we know? Because the Bidens are there. We know that there's issues in Ukraine. We know that. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm not saying that everything that you're seeing coming out of Ukraine, some of it is propaganda. I know and I get that. But here's the difference: this is about authoritarian nation, dictator, tyrant, going up against what is in a country that is attempting to become a constitutional democracy. And this is like U.S. against China. I hate to say this, but that's almost like what it is. And you've got to support those who are about the people running the government, not the tyrants running the government. And that's really what this comes down to.
Exactly right. So get out there, support, do what you have to do. Make sure you make your opinion known. Do not forget what's going on to our north. Do not forget that the Canadians are being locked out up there and they're threatening to kill their own citizens, because I believe a lot of what's going on in the Ukraine is
that's why there's a revolution in and of itself going on up there, and you have triggered our theme song for that.
10 for Pigpen, for sure. By golly, it's clean clear to Taco Town. Yeah, we definitely got us the front door, good buddy. Mercy sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy.
Always looking for a reason, and we just got it. So.
Always looking for a reason. Hey, and you know what? It's on Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Having a good time. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you sharing, and subscribing, encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow for Hump Day, same bat time, same bat channel.
That's it. Pass us around. See you then.